Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a seriously wild one for you today. We're going to unpack this fascinating coming of age story that just totally blends teenage rebellion, a horrific accident, and then this completely bizarre supernatural twist. We're diving into the dramatic story of Lily, a teenager who accidentally ends up haunting her very own house. I mean, right off the bat, you have to ask, what actually happens when you accidentally haunt your own house? Like, how do you even get yourself into a predicament like that? Well, to figure out Lily's situation, we kind of have to rewind and look at the crazy life that led her there in the first place. So, Lily's childhood, it was anything but ordinary. It was total chaos, which honestly explains why she was so incredibly frustrated. See, her parents were these intense investigative journalists, always chasing the next big, dangerous scoop. And sure, her little brother thought they were superheroes, but for Lily, it was exhausting. I mean, 2 months in India and Singapore, 6 months freezing in Alaska, and get this, she was literally kidnapped for a week during a military coup in Myanmar. For 16 years, she was just carted all over the globe, getting constant whiplash. All she wanted, all she desperately craved, was just a little bit of normalcy, some stability. And finally, when a story about a missing mayor drags them to Boston, she actually thought she found it. Moving to Boston was like a breath of fresh air. It was this brief, shining window of actual stability. Lily started going to a normal high school. She was teaching herself biology because her big dream was to become a doctor. You know, someone who stays in one single location with a loyal patient base. She even made a best friend, Suze, while they were dissecting a mouse in bio class. For the absolute first time in her life, Lily had a solid plan. She had a friend. She had roots. She was just finally getting to live a normal teenage life. But, of course, that didn't last. Out of nowhere, her mom drops a total bombshell. The missing mayor? Found. The Boston chapter? Officially over. Her parents just abruptly announced that they're packing everything up yet again, this time moving to Hawaii to cover the illegal capturing of the Hawaiian monk seal. And for Lily, this was the absolute breaking point. That hard-won stability she literally just found, shattered, gone in an instant. She just felt so completely abandoned and unheard by the people who were supposed to care for her the most. Which leads us to the core tragedy of the story. Lily is just consumed by this rebellious teenage rage. She screams at her parents that she can't stand being their daughter, and she just bolts out the front door. She jumps on her bike, pedaling absolutely frantically towards Suze's house. And because she's in this blind, tearful panic, she just doesn't see a truck turning into her path. She gets struck, hits the cement, and everything goes completely dark. But then she wakes up. Her bike is completely mangled, totally destroyed. But strangely, her body, it feels weirdly fine. Disoriented and confused, Lily wanders back home, figuring her parents are probably out frantically looking for her. But she walks into what is basically a living nightmare. The entire house is completely empty. We're talking no family photos on the walls, all the furniture is completely gone, nothing. And when she tries to turn around and leave, the doors are just jammed shut. The windows literally slam down on her fingers. And every single time she tries to call her parents or her best friend in a complete panic, it just goes straight to voicemail. She is physically trapped inside this barren house with absolutely no way out. So after a totally terrifying night of weird dreams, she finally hears the front door open. But it's not her parents. In walks a woman named Michelle and her emo goth teenage daughter, Yara. And they just start unpacking boxes, completely ignoring Lily, who is literally screaming for help right in front of them. In a total panic, Lily reaches out and tries to tap Michelle on the shoulder, but her hand passes right through her, just like a hologram. Lily screams, which finally gets Michelle and Yara's attention. They look totally terrified, and Yara stammers, "Mom, what was that?" And Lily, trying to make sense of this insanity, immediately assumes these two random intruders must be ghosts who are trapping her in her own home. Getting desperate, Lily barricades herself in her old bedroom and somehow manages to use her phone to Google a local medium named Cassandra. She leaves this totally frantic voicemail just begging for a phantom cleanse, which is basically a specialized exorcism to clear out haunting spirits. A little while later, the front door bursts open, and in walks Cassandra. Picture this. A tall medium, wearing sunglasses indoors, carrying a tote bag packed with donuts, here to answer Lily's desperate call to banish these evil entities. So Cassandra walks right up to Lily, slowly takes off her sunglasses, and just drops this massive bombshell. When Lily frantically points at Yara and Michelle and calls them the ghosts, Cassandra just looks at her with this deep pity and goes, "Oh, sweet dear, no, you are the ghost." I mean, talk about dramatic irony. Lily isn't the victim of some weird haunting. She's the one doing the haunting.
Okay, which brings up a massive, glaring question, right? Wait a minute. Is she actually a ghost? Like, is Lily dead? And if she is a spirit, how on earth is she using a cell phone to call a medium in the first place?
Well, Cassandra sits her down and lays out this stark, almost medical diagnosis of what's actually happening. Physically, Lily is not dead. She's actually in a really severe coma from the bike accident, and her physical body is lying in a hospital bed way over in Hawaii. But spiritually, she's trapped in the state Cassandra calls emotional limbo, and the root cause is fascinating. Lily is clinging so fiercely to her anger toward her parents and grieving her lost Boston life so much that she is literally refusing to let go of the physical space of that house. So the cure? The only way out? She has to let go. Okay, so she's stuck in spirit form for the time being. Lily figures, hey, I might as well test out my new supernatural abilities. She's expecting these really cool, menacing ghost powers, right? Like blowing freezing air or making the lights ominously flicker. But the reality? Her powers are so incredibly lame. When she tries to float a chair, it just wildly launches out a window and hits a gardener. She tries to levitate a spoon, and it spirals directly into Michelle's coffee cup and smacks the poor woman right in the eye. She's definitely less of a terrifying poltergeist and way more of a clumsy, invisible nuisance. Meanwhile, down in the physical world, Michelle is quickly turning Lily's old house into a bed and breakfast. So now Lily is trapped there, forced to watch all these strangers constantly coming and going. But without a doubt, the absolute worst guest is Yara's toxic boyfriend, Harry. He's just awful. He flops onto Lily's old bed, kicking off his dirty sneakers. He permanently smells like this terrible mix of Axe body spray and microwave bacon. He farts in what Lily disgustedly calls long, distinct segments. And the cherry on top, he clogs the B&B's downstairs toilet. Not once, but twice. And just to add insult to injury, Lily tries to gently spook Harry by dropping a cereal box on his lap. But instead of freaking out, Harry just decides the ghost is hella chill. He literally pulls out his phone, films a TikTok video titled, "Me Vibing with the Ghost Girl," and it blows up, racking up exactly 3,000 likes. For Lily, who is literally trapped in this coma purgatory, being used for a teenage boy's TikTok clout was just the ultimate afterlife humiliation. But you know, patience pays off, and Lily soon gets her chance for revenge. One afternoon, she's lurking under the dining room table, and Harry carelessly leaves his phone unattended. Suddenly, the screen lights up with a text message. It's from a girl named Kelsey, and it says, "Miss your lips, babe." Yep, Harry is cheating on Yara. So Lily uses her terrible, clumsy ghost powers to pull off this really clever step-by-step plan. Step 1, she lurks under the table while Harry is, inevitably, microwaving more bacon. Step 2, she waits for that secret text to pop back up on the screen. Step 3, she rattles the table leg just hard enough to slowly slide the phone right to the edge. And step 4, she drops it perfectly, screen side up, right onto the floor exactly as Yara walks into the room. And it works flawlessly. Yara spots the text, confronts Harry, and this massive, explosive argument kicks off. Hearing all the yelling, Michelle comes rushing in, and what Lily witnesses next triggers a massive turning point for her. When Yara, completely embarrassed, tries to bolt out the front door, Michelle literally throws her own body against the wood to block her. She fiercely defends Yara's self-worth and then promptly kicks that toxic boyfriend right out of the house. Watching this, Lily can't help but compare Michelle to her own mom. In her mind, her mom just let her right off on her bike, completely abandoned her, and moved to Hawaii without a second thought. But Lily's entire perspective is about to be completely turned upside down. In the aftermath of throwing Harry out, Michelle just breaks down crying. She apologizes to Yara for dragging her to this weird, creepy house, admitting that she was just desperately running away from the heartbreak of her own divorce. The two of them share this incredibly beautiful, raw breakthrough and just hold each other. Witnessing that apology really hits Lily hard. It makes her realize that parents, well, they're just flawed humans too. They're often dealing with their own massive heartbreaks and just drastically trying to figure out how to be happy. That emotional shift sparks a huge idea for Lily. If Michelle had her reasons for doing what she did, maybe Lily's parents did too. So Lily bides her time and waits for an elderly B&B guest to leave a laptop open. Then she painstakingly levitates a pencil to try and type her own name into a search engine. Now, of course, her ghost physics are a disaster. It results in a toppled chair, a completely shattered lamp, and totally terrified guests literally fleeing the house. But right before they run, Lily manages to click a link and she pulls up a news article about herself.
And the truth she reads in that article is just completely staggering. Her parents didn't abandon her in some hospital bed just so they could go report on seals in Hawaii. Not at all. They actually poured every single ounce of their investigative journalist resources into researching coma brain activity. They dug deep and uncovered this hidden experimental medical procedure that could actually save her life. And to fund this massive, desperate battle against the healthcare system, they sold their family home in Boston, the very house that Lily was haunting.
The absolute core of her predicament hits her all at once. She realizes it wasn't the house I had to leave behind, it was my anger. Her parents had literally sacrificed everything for her. That whole narrative she had built up in her head about their betrayal, it was totally false. The emotional limbo she was trapped in wasn't built out of wood and drywall. It was entirely built out of her own stubborn resentment. And the exact moment she truly realizes this, she finally forgives them. And guess what? That forgiveness was the cure. Instantly, Lily wakes up in her hospital bed in Hawaii with her tearful parents right by her side. They didn't even need to go through with the expensive surgery. Just the act of letting go of her anger naturally pulled her right out of the coma. She forgives her parents, realizing that she would much rather have passionate, highly flawed parents than lose them altogether. And in a really funny twist, to let her finish high school, her parents pay for her to stay right back at Michelle and Yara's house in Boston. Plus, Yara even keeps the haunted sign up on the B&B because, hey, business is absolutely booming from all the local ghost hunters. You see, Lily thought she had to fiercely protect her physical space just to have a life. But in reality, she just needed to stop running from the people who loved her. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Are you holding on to anger that's keeping you trapped in your own emotional limbo? Sometimes the ghosts haunting our lives are really just the resentments we refuse to let go of. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible explainer with me today.